Hi, welcome to our briefing on Qatar, on the education in Qatar. My name is Paula Masad, and I'm one of the Education USA advisors at the U.S. Embassy in Doha.
Hello everyone, I'm Essil Al-Ugaili. I am one of the Education USA advisors in the US Embassy in Doha, Qatar.
So the first thing that we want to speak about are the schools in Qatar. So first of all, all the public schools in Qatar are committed to teaching those basic skills in mathematics, science, history, Qatari history, Islamic history, and the main language of instruction is Arabic. However, they do teach English from grade 1. Qatar also has some specialized school in STEM and in business. The STEM school right now is for boys, but they are opening a STEM school for girls. In addition to the public schools, there are also a large number of private schools and international schools. Most expatriates in some Qataris choose to send their students to the international schools. The international schools have a variety of curriculums. Some are American, some are British. There's even Filipino curriculum. There's Indian, Pakistani, and a variety of other countries because there's such a large number of expatriates in the country. They have many schools that serve their needs. So this is a high-level overview from the student mobility and fact sheet. What we know is that there's been a steady decline of Qataris studying in the United States. And we'll talk a little bit more about why we think there's been such a decline. We'll look at some of those reasons shortly. What's important to notice here is that Qatar's total population is approximately between 2.4 and 2.6 million, and only about 300,000 of that number are Qatari citizens, meaning that 2.3 million are expatriates. So it really is a challenge for us to reach our target audience because it is such a small percentage of the overall population. And when we're doing our outreach, we're not only focusing on Qataris, but we're also reaching that expatriate community. Another thing, another note to make is that there is also a decrease in the number of Americans, the U.S. study abroad students in Qatar. I think across the board in the Middle East, we've seen a decline in U.S. Students coming to study in the region. So we hope to see a reverse in that eventually as well. So here we have the look at Qatari students in the US by academic level. We have the highest percentage of Qataris at the undergraduate level in the US. And then also we have more graduate students, and the graduate students is the emphasis of the Ministry of Education. We'll speak a little bit about that. They really would like to have more students coming to the United States to pursue their master's and doctorate degree. So that's an area that we will be focusing on. We as Education USA will be working on more closely with the Ministry of Education. We also have some students coming to do their non-degrees or maybe English as a second language or other specialty type of programs. And we have some doing their optional practical training as well. So if we look at Qatari students in the US by institution type, the little bit of surprising figure here is the percentage that we see at the community college. Community colleges are not on the approved list, and statistics indicate that many Qataris may choose this option to begin their studies in the United States. This could be for several reasons. For example, the students may not have the grades that they need to get into a four-year college, and they may not have the English language skills needed to get into four-year college. So maybe they'll start out at a two-year college, finish that, and then transition to a four-year college to finish their bachelor degree. Also, for some students, if they're choosing the four-year college, affordability may be an issue if they're not getting a government scholarship. So they see it also as an affordable option. It certainly is an exciting option for the expatriate community who are living in Qatar, who do not have access to those government scholarships. We see the highest percentage of the students in Qatar attending doctorate granting universities. That means that they may have the option to go on to do their master's or doctorate program from their undergraduate degree. Also, a higher percentage attending public institutions as opposed to private institutions. And this, could be attributed to name recognition or just looking at rankings, and they may not be as familiar with the smaller colleges because they're not as well known and they're not even considered. We know that Qataris pay a lot of attention to rankings, even though we have many presentations and many conversations about the importance of finding that best fit college, and that may not be those top ranked universities. So that's something that we are always talking about with them. So why the declining numbers? And one of the reasons is in 2018, Qatar implemented a new law requiring all male citizens with a secondary school certificate to complete 1 year of national service. And this is optional for female students. The requirement can be waived if a student has an unconditional college acceptance. Another issue is concerns about safety and security. Concerns perceived negative attitude toward Muslims, also the gun violence. We have lots of conversations with parents and with students about how can you be sure that I'll be safe on a U.S. college campus. We recently hosted a session just on that specific topic and addressed and pointed out a lot of the safety measures that college campuses have to make sure their students are safe and secure on the campus. But this is an ongoing conversation, especially with every gun incident that happens in the United States. It's a tough one to address. But we just, as parents, try to make sure that we're providing the best information for students. And also there's an increased number of U.S. universities in Qatar itself. And this may contribute to the decrease of them making the decrease of Qataris traveling to the US. They may choose to study right where it's and apply to one of the US universities and get their degree from one of the universities in Qatar without having to travel to the United States. So this is another option for students, and we see some more institutions being established there, not only American universities, but universities from other countries. So that also can be contributing to the decline. They're just not choosing to travel. They're staying home and studying from their own country. An increase in online learning, an excellent option for students who don't want to travel, who want to work from home. They can still get a degree. The government at this time, the Ministry of Education, they will not pay for an online degree. So this is something that students may choose to self-fund, but it makes it easy, especially if they have family obligations and they don't want to travel. They may choose to do an online program. Again, sort of touching into the same subject, this distance and personal and family obligations really make it difficult for many Qataris to travel. We hear that they choose the UK just simply because it's closer and easier to get to, as opposed to going all the way to the United States. Some Qataris have personal and they may have children and they don't want to leave their families for a long time to go to the United States to complete their degree. Some ask us, well, why can't there be a more flexible program? Like they could go for a few months and then come back for a few months and sort of go back and forth till they complete their degree. So they are looking for flexible options. And finally, changes in the government scholarship program. And I'm going to let my colleague Asil address this topic.
Thank you so much, Paula. Yeah, with regard to scholarship programs in Qatar, so there are two types of scholarship programs. One is offered by the government, which is called Government Scholarship Program, which is offered by the Ministry of Education and Higher Education. This provides full funding for students who are willing to study abroad, and one of the countries is the US. But on the other side also, these students, they need to sign a contract with a sponsoring institution that is a governmental institution that's going to fund their study. And once they are back, they have to work in that institution for the whole period of time that they used in order to finish their study in the States. So this is the government scholarship program. There are also some scholarship programs and opportunities provided by private organizations, just like some banks or companies here that provide those opportunities for their employees. Just like sometimes doing their undergraduate or graduate studies, and also they have some commitments when they get back. So with regard to the scholarship program that's provided by the government, which is government scholarship program, the government of Qatar, through the Ministry of Education, Higher Education, and different other ministries, they have an agreement on choosing the universities that are approved by the government. And what they choose are the higher ranked universities. So they have a list of universities that are approved in the countries that students in Qatar go and study. I mean, Qatari students. So there are three types of lists. There is a list which is called Emiri list, which is a list that has the high ranking universities. And this list has 21 US universities. There is also a ministry approved list, which is a list of more than 200, a list of universities from different countries. And it has more than 200 universities from the states. These universities are approved. And Qataris who are eligible for this scholarship program, they can apply and they would get approved. There is another list which is called pre-approved list or self-funded list, which requires students to get pre-approval from the ministry, and they would be funding those students who choose the universities from this list. They have to pay from their own money or their family money. With regard to the scholarship program, which is provided by the government and Ministry of Education, Higher Education, this program is open only for children of Qataris and Qatari women. So other nationalities are not eligible. And even Qataris, they have to meet the eligibility guidelines and criteria in order to be eligible and be approved. But it is very generous program. So this is with regard to the scholarship programs that are offered here in Qatar. And of course, these are open for bachelor's and master's and PhD. With regard to the majors that are of great focus and they are of importance and priority for the Ministry of Education, Higher Education, so far the plan hasn't been approved by the ministry. With regard to 2021-2022, the majors that they want students to pursue by studying abroad. But through our discussions with officials at the ministry, they mentioned three major specialties and topics that are of interest for the government or the government scholarship program. One of them is education and special education. The other one is medical studies, and the third one is engineering. But with engineering, there is a great focus on computer engineering, communication engineering, IT, artificial intelligence, any type of engineering that's related to computers. So these are really of great interest to the government, and they would approve requests from students to study abroad when they intend to study any one of those topics or subjects. That's it all about scholarship program. Over
Thank
to
you,
you.
Asil.
Thanks.
So what are we doing to reverse this decline? It's we've done a lot of work this year, even in the time of COVID, which has been a whole nother level of challenge, as we all are aware. First, we're partnering with the Ministry of Education and Higher Education to host workshops for school counselors. School counselors, not only of the international schools and of the government schools. And this is really important because many of the school counselors in the public schools are not trained, and they do need a lot of guidance on how to assist students who are looking to apply to attend university in the United States. And through those workshops, the relationships that we're building with the school counselors who are in direct contact with Qatari students, we've been able to do some more targeted workshops with them within their schools. So it's really been a great way for us to reach Qataris through the school counselors. We also have increased outreach in Arabic. Thank you, Asil, for joining our team in 2020. And she's been a fabulous resource. Really, it's essential that we have Arabic-speaking team members to reach the community at large and effectively. So that's been wonderful. We've also increased our virtual one-to-one advising. We offer one-to-one advising, all small group advising. Students can register or sign up for advising appointments through our Facebook page. We also share the link widely in each of our sessions. Another thing that we launched this year was our Education USA kiosk, and you can see a picture there of that. And then we've taken that around Qatar, and we just greet members of the community. We have our Education USA literature there, and we just welcome anybody who would like to come and speak to us about studying in the United States to visit our kiosk. We also have been offering targeted virtual sessions, as I mentioned, both closed and open closed with specific schools when we partner with school counselors and have actually gone in and done virtual sessions on topics that they feel like are important for their school community. We've done a lot of virtual sessions throughout 2020 into 2021 on a variety of topics that we believe are relevant not only to our Qatari community, but to the MENA region at large, because we do partner with other Education USA centers throughout the MENA region. So I want to encourage you as institutions, if you have a topic that you think might be important for our region or helpful, we would love to partner with you as we continue to do our virtual sessions. We do our virtual sessions on Zoom, and then we Facebook live stream them, and then we keep the sessions live, or we keep the recordings posted on Facebook, and we tend to get a lot of reach after they've been posted. So we welcome your partnerships with these virtual sessions. We also established College Club with one of the STEM schools, one of the government STEM schools, and our plan. Some of you may be familiar with the competitive College Club. This is sort of a version of that without the emphasis on the scholarship component that comes with the competitive College Club. This is really about helping students with the Education USA 5-step, researching your options, doing the college application. I skipped the scholarship point because we don't really focus on that in this session. And then the visa and the pre-departure. But it's that first step, researching their options, where the students need a lot of support. So we're doing that with one of the STEM schools, with a boys' school, and we hope to branch off and do that with more of the schools in Qatar. But it's been very difficult in the time of COVID to work with the government schools, because their days are really tight, and obviously we're not doing anything in person, but to schedule virtual meetings, it's been a challenge, and we're looking forward to when COVID is over and we're all back in person, so we can actually meet the students face to face. We also have participated in a variety of regional and national college fairs, such as this fair. Thank you so much for registering to participate in this fair. This helps gives students an opportunity to speak directly with admissions counselors, which we think is so important for them to hear directly from you about what your college or university offers. And so we encourage the students really to engage in those conversations. Asil, anything you'd like to add there?
Thank you so much, Paula, for this really very comprehensive and thorough overview of our services and the education system here in Qatar. Thank you so much. Just like an invitation, as you mentioned, to all participating universities to coordinate with us, cooperate with us, collaborate with us if they're interested in doing different types of sessions, as you mentioned. And for us, we might reach out to them for certain sessions, certain topics that are of interest. And we hope to work with them also in the future, and hopefully in in-person fairs and being here and being in touch.
Yes, we look forward to doing the in-person fairs again. And thank you again for registering to participate in this event.
Yep, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.